Welcome to Vsb News Online for Tuesday, May the 19th. I'm Charles Webb. A dramatic turn in the Al-F Wade International Airport saga tonight as we learn that Progressive Labour Party representatives are in London to seek assistance from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Brian Darby has the details.
A Progressive Labour Party delegation is currently in the United Kingdom meeting with representatives of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and the Commonwealth Parliament Association regarding the government's plan for airport redevelopment and other associated controversies regarding the governing of the One Bermuda Alliance. The delegation includes Opposition Leader Mark Bean, Shadow Attorney General Michael Scott, Shadow Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown, and Shadow Tourism Minister Zane De Silva. A PLP spokesman says the government refuses to yield on this matter, and in support of fellow Bermudians, we must stand up to ensure the best deal possible for our island in redeveloping our airport. They go on to say the PLP would like the UK to instruct the OBA government to cancel the Memorandum of Understanding with CCC and ACON and begin the process over again, beginning with an RFB. The spokesman said there is hope that when presented with these facts that the UK will intervene and put a stop to this reckless behaviour from the Dunkley-Richards administration. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
An industrial accident occurred at the Pink Beach Club development on South Shore Smiths this afternoon. The Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service reports that a male worker had fallen from a two-story level and was complaining of hip pain. However, he was conscious and breathing normally at the time. The victim was immediately assessed and treated on the scene by EMTs and hospital personnel, and then transported to the hospital via ambulance for further medical attention. The severity of his injuries cannot be confirmed at this time, but the incident is under investigation. As Bermuda Overseas Mission prepares for this Friday's fundraising fish fry at Christchurch, Warwick, to help pay for this year's trip to Malawi to build homes for orphans, the group's president, David Thompson, said it was probably the most important mission in the charity's 12 years.
There is a special program from Habitat called OVC, Orphans and Vulnerable Children Program. And what it is, Malawi, like a lot of Africa, was hit by the AIDS crisis in a big way. And the end result was you got a lot of orphans out there, and you got a lot of older people looking after them, and you don't seem to have the mums and dads around anymore. And they said out of their population of 15 million people, there's over 1 million orphans. So it's staggering numbers. And what Habitat are doing is they're building homes where caregivers are taking in these children and looking after them. So there's big family units again. And obviously they need houses. So we're there to help.
Roughly how big a project is it, and what kind of a challenge is it?
Oh gosh, I think we're gonna be a tip of the iceberg, frankly, for what they need. But with 32 people going this year, 12 adults and 20 students, I think we make a fairly good dent. Usually we have 5 to 6 people per house. Building, because it's a small home, and that's about a good number, along with the construction foreman and the family obviously helping as well. So given those kinds of numbers, it's conceivable we could be building anywhere from 6 to 8 homes.
How long will it be there?
2.5 weeks.
Oh,
so it's a good time. 10 build days, a little time for some cultural activity, and hopefully we'll throw a safari in at the end to give them all a break.
Tell me about these children who are going from here.
Well, students, they are all over 16, but we have a really good section from Bermuda. We've got a lot of kids going from Berkeley, Cedar Bridge, Mount St. Agnes, Warwick, of course. So it's different groups. We've got some kids from Big Brothers Big Sisters joining us. And of course, for the third year running now, Beyond Rugby are sending 4 of their kids as well. So we're getting kids from all walks of life here. And, you love the experience of seeing how these kids develop.
Entrepreneurs looking for a booth with their latest tourism idea might just find the Bermuda Tourism Authority the place to get a leg up. Their product and experiences investment process lunch and learn sessions commence today, and successful candidates might have a chance to share in the $1.7 million award scheme. Glenn Jones, the BTA's Director of Public and Stakeholder Relations, explains how it works.
And the ultimate objective is to prepare entrepreneurs who have a new, unique tourism experience that they want to see get off the ground. And as long as those experiences align with the overall objectives in our tourism plan, then there's a good likelihood that it will be funded with an investment grant. We've used this process in the past. It seems to work very well in getting entrepreneurs focused on what objectives they need to meet, what kind of products the customer is telling us they want, and we're hoping to see a really good batch of new experiences applying for investment grants when that application process begins in September.
Now, there are a number of Bermudians who are becoming very entrepreneurial, especially in this area of B&B. Is the authority going to be monitoring these people when they start opening up B&Bs?
Well, any tourism experience that receives investment funding from the BTA does have a long list of reporting that they have to do to ensure that the taxpayer dollars funded for this enterprise, there's a return. To ensure that the business is properly supported, it's marketed through our sales and marketing departments, and that ultimately the promises made in the plan are being kept once the business is off the ground.
But what about those you're not funding? How do you maintain quality control?
Well, it's difficult. I think ultimately the market will decide what is quality and what isn't. So if a business is not delivering well its service to customers, they're probably not going to survive for very long. We also live in a world of instant travel reviews. And each time you serve a customer, you're really campaigning to get a good review, because if you get bad ones, people are going to stop coming to your establishment.
Bermuda's new Information Commissioner has launched a full investigation into the alleged breach of confidentiality over a Patty request. This follows a charge by PLP MP Walton Brown that Works Minister Craig Cannonier had illegally divulged that he had made a Patty request in connection with the removal of stone from a Blackwatch Pass construction site. Chris Lodge has the story.
Under the law, the identity of persons requesting information is confidential. Ms. Gutierrez saying she had been notified by a member of the public of the possible breach, and the Commissioner's role includes overseeing compliance, and she can initiate investigations under the law. She says on Friday she began speaking to individuals in the relevant public authorities. She says this particular request was initially submitted to one authority, then transferred to another one. The focus of the Information Commissioner's investigation is to determine the process that was used in both offices to handle the request, to learn if and how a breach of confidentiality occurred, and to identify any potential corrective measures that must be taken to ensure the public authorities' compliance with the Patty Act going forward. She says confidentiality is critically important to prevent retaliation. This, she says, is an entirely new law and procedure, and we should expect that challenges will arise in this first year, including dealing with inadvertent or careless mistakes. She says the vast majority of errors will be addressed through the review process, corrective training and or retraining for particular individuals, and improvements in public authorities' policies and procedures. I'm Chris Lodge, Vsb News.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
In an effort to make Bermuda's roads safer, and in partnership with Bermuda Police Service and the Bermuda Road Safety Council, DeFon's Broadcasting is launching a safe driving campaign. Complete with thumb bands, come into DeFon's Broadcasting and 94 Reed Street and make the commitment to drive safer and slower for yourself. Your voice could be featured on the radio. Get yourself a thumb band as a reminder of your commitment to drive safer and with fewer distractions. While you're at it, why not get one for someone in your life who also needs a reminder that our roads do not discriminate. They can take anyone's life. Let's drive safe, Bermuda, and arrive alive. Peace and love. Safe journeys.
Both education and the environment have benefited from the current visit to Bermuda of the Plastic Tides Research Program, directed by Gordon Middleton and Christian Shaw. As they took one last sampling at Hungry Bay before packing their bags and scientific equipment, they spoke to about their future forthright here searching for microbeads in the inshore waters.
We were able to get the outreach that we really wanted. We were able to visit about 15 different school groups, including even a homeschool network. We did a screening at BUEI. We feel that we have successfully been a catalyst for, the Beat the Bead Bermuda campaign that Best and Green Rock are trying to start.
What did you find?
Well, we're actually taking the samples home to analyze them. We didn't quite have the right equipment to analyze them here on island, and we're going to bring them home, and we're going to bring back the results.
You have done this before, so you tell us what you saw that's different.
Yeah, so we've done this before. We did it in upstate New York on inland waterways. We did the first microbead sampling of any inland waterways ever. So on Cayuga Lake and the Erie Canal system. So we did that, and we found beads in 70% of our samples there. But this is actually, to our knowledge, the first ocean sampling for microbeads. So if we're to find the beads, it'll be the first beads found in the ocean. But it looks really promising. As Gordon said, we're going to take the samples home and analyze them further. But there's a lot of particulate down in there. Definitely a lot of plastic, just from the get-go. But we can't really confirm yet if we found microbeads from cosmetic products.
Right.
But given the degree of debris kind of coming up off of Seabright, we're quite confident that we're going to find them.
Now, this is a big effort now in Bermuda to get these little beads and take them out of the product or get them off the island. So you welcome this, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in New York. We're having a battle right now in the legislative system, trying to ban the bead. But here in Bermuda, it's a tight-knit community. It's a small community. There's only a few stores that actually will sell these products. And if there's a grassroots movement, it will be faster. It'll be more effective. And in the long run, it will, promote Bermuda as a whole.
Yeah.
You're doing something that we should be extremely grateful for because we don't have the resources.
Well, thank you. We just really enjoy working here, and there's a lot of awesome groups on the island that are really supportive to our mission, and we kind of just fit in and supplement what they're already doing. Right. In terms of the microbeads, it's really important to remember that even if you say, I live on a septic tank, and so if I use microbeads, they're going to go into the septic tank, and it's fine because there's no way they're going to get in the ocean. That's not really the idea here. The idea is that if you stop buying them, then companies are going to stop producing them. And so even if your microbeads aren't going into the ocean, somebody else's might be. And so,
in your lifetime, do you think we'll see it gone?
I do, yeah. I mean, legislation is moving quickly in the States, and, I know there's a number of other groups going to be coming in the wake of our trip that are going to bolster the campaign even further. And, we've done a lot of outreach, and a lot of people are talking about it.
No one understands the expression, put your money where your mouth is, better than Masterworks Museum of Art founder Tom Butterfield. He sets off next week on a 500-kilometer ride across France on his 10th fundraising cycle in 20 years, this time with 3 friends, in the hopes of raising $250,000 for his beloved museum.
Desperation is the mother of necessity, or is it the other way around? I'm not sure. But whatever it is, it's a fun way of doing it. And as I've like to believe, the idea is that it democratizes the notion of being able to give. So pledges have been both small and large, and people are comfortable and happy when they're making that donation. And that's kind of what I like. I mean, I think that we've had 168 yeses, so that's a lot of people. And I believe that we're rounding $118,000, and that's what I know. I don't know what the other bikers have brought in, and I know that that's part of the contract, by the way. You don't go biking unless you bring some money in, and I've told them the amount. So we'll see you on biking day. And by the way, I did have another back operation this year. So that makes operation number 9. So it's not as much of a death wish as it is get off your bike and do something else. So that's what we will do at the end of this one. I also found it really appropriate because we're always looking for a tie. And originally I had wanted to do it because we started biking 20-odd years ago. And that was in Edinburgh to London in 1995. We had just done the Masterworks book the year before. So we gave a book to the National Gallery in Scotland and one in England, and then we had it out. This, we're able to give a book to the Albert Gleizes Foundation in Saint-Remy because we have some Cubist work from Gleizes when he visited here in 1917. And we've been in touch with the library there, so we'll present the Masterworks book on a Sunday and then head to Paris. And we'll do the victory lap around the Arc de Triomphe, which I kind of like, and sort of say that will be it. You know, there's no more victory laps than that. There will be no yellow jerseys, no polka dot shirts or anything like that. No girls to greet us with flowers at the end of the day. You know, it's a little more. Yeah, it's a little more austere. You know.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
Team New Zealand are upping their sailing program as they play a game of catch-up on their way to the next America's Cup in Bermuda in 2017. With most of their rivals already well underway, working out on their revamped foiling 45-foot catamarans, Team New Zealand will be involved in an official testing in England. Veterans Glenn Ashby, Jeremy Lomas, and Richard McCammon will be involved in the Portsmouth exercise, which will be a shakedown for the World Series opener there in late July. Peter Berlin and Blake Took will be involved in the lead-up closer to the regatta, which is the first of 3 events this year, with other regattas set for Sweden and Bermuda. Balco's Chief Operating Officer, Denton Williams, congratulated Southampton Rangers on winning the 2015 Balco Cup for the 9th time.
Huge congratulations to Southampton Rangers for their 9th victory in the Balco Cup. That's a tremendous feat to have won the championship so many times. Well done to St. David's for making the final match a competitive one. St. David's put up a good fight, but in the end, Southampton Rangers prevailed. Also, congratulations to Alex Dorr, who was named man of the match for his outstanding innings of 64 runs not out. We're proud to see a young man like you taking the sport of cricket seriously. We wish you well in your future endeavors on and off the cricket pitch. It wouldn't be right if we didn't recognize the teams who made it to the semi-final stages, Willicots and Bayliss Bay. Thank you for your hard work and participation in this year's tournament as well.
The Balco Cup semi-finals and finals, as well as a first division match, took center stage this past weekend. We now take a look at some of the top performers. In the batting department, Dion Stover from Southampton Rangers had the best knock of the weekend, scoring 99 not out against Bayliss Bay in their Balco Cup semi-final match, while his teammate Alex Dorr made 64 not out against St. David's Cricket Club in the final. For Craig Crockwell from St. David's Cricket Club scored 61 runs against Willicots in their semi-final. Carl Hutzel from Bayliss Bay returned the best bowling figures of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 5 for 32 against Southampton Rangers in their semi-final match, while figures of 6.1 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 12 saw George O'Brien, representing St. David's Cricket Club, record the second best figures of the weekend. Shaquille Otterbeard from the Bermuda Under-19 national team had figures of 7 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 14 in their match against Western Stars. Meanwhile, Kamal Leverock led Taryn Frey and the rest of his Newport cricket teammates to a 15-run victory over Mumbles Cricket Club in the South Wales Premier Division. Batting first, Newport scored 199 for 8 in their allotted 50 overs. Frey was out for 3, while Leverock was caught for 2. But things heated up when Mumbles went to bat, and they were bowled all out for 184, with Leverock returning figures of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 4 wickets for 41 runs. Dominique Mayo competed in the latest round of cycling in Belgium, competing in a 118.5-kilometer elite under-23 open loop race. 117 riders went to the start line, with Mayo finishing 53rd overall, clocking a time of 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 25 seconds. Mayo is quoted as saying, "I was in a breakaway for 2 hours before getting caught with 4 laps to go and managed to stay with the group. I was dead after being in that breakaway for most of the race." Although Mayo finished 53rd, he did finish in a group that finished between 5th and 68th. This coming weekend, May 22nd through to the 24th, Bermuda Rugby will be represented at the Barmouth Rugby Sevens Festival in the UK by a Bermuda Sevens select team. The Bermuda Sevens Select Squad will consist of a number of Bermuda players who have lived either on island or have traveled to the UK, or players who are currently living overseas due to their education or employment. The team will also have a number of invitational players assisting to strengthen the squad, as Bermuda will face some of UK and Europe's top Rugby Sevens teams. Kyle Webb and Bruce DeGrilla represented Central Arizona at the National Junior College Championships. Competing in the 400-meter race, Webb finished 3rd in Heat 1 and 15th overall in a time of 47.97. Webb finished third in Heat 4 of the men's 200-meter dash and 10th overall for a time of 20:98. Webb ran the third leg for the Central Arizona men's 4x100-meter relay team that finished third in the final, clocking a time of 40:50. They reached the final after finishing second in Heat 4 and clocking a time of 40:35, which was the fifth fastest qualifying time. DeGrillo won Flight 1 of the men's long jump with a top leap of 7.02 meters, but he finished 8th overall. Michael Franklin began taking part in the $10,000 men's Lifetime Fitness Las Vegas Squash Open. Franklin has to go through the qualifying rounds and took on Etelio Bonatti from Guadeloupe. Franklin advanced to the qualifying finals after defeating Bonadetti 11-6, 11-4, 7-11, 11-8. An injury has ruled Flora Duffy out of the Exterior Southeast Championships and now is set to see her miss the ITU World Triathlon in London. Duffy, on her social media page, is quoted as saying, "I pushed an injury too far, and now I am paying the price. I am lucky to have such a great support in Boulder, helping me to get better and back to racing." VSB Sports can reveal that at least two players who played major roles in Bermuda advancing in the CONCACAF First Round 2018 Russia World Cup qualifiers against the Bahamas are unavailable for the warm-up matches arranged. Jonte Smith is currently playing in Norway for Floyd, while Dante Levrock is playing for the Harrisburg City Islanders in the United Soccer League. Smith set up the third goal for Bermuda at the National Sports Center in the return leg of the 3-0 win, while Levrock scored Bermuda's first goal of the campaign with a header in the Bahamas. Both players, however, will be available for the World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, the Bermuda Football Association have announced that their warm-up match against Puerto Rico will take place at the National Sports Center on June 5th at 7:30 p.m. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, May the 20th, it will be partly cloudy. Winds will be westerly and light, backing southwesterly light to moderate during the afternoon. We're expecting a high near 75 and a low near 68. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, May the 19th. I'm Charles Webb.